Pacific Drums and Percussion presents Get It Started with Daru Jones and Daru's special guest, Cindy Blackman Santana. And now, live from Instrument Head Live Studios in Nashville, let's get it started.
Yo, what up? Daru Jones, you know what I'm saying? Sound check. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're live at Instrument Heads, you know what I'm saying? Instrument Head Live. We're in Nashville and get it started with yours truly. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we got some really cool guests. I'm really excited. We got two queens, you know what I'm saying? Two rhythm queens. We got the legendary Cindy Blackman Santana, you know what I'm saying? Big fan. And we got my good friend Sarah, all the way from the T-Dot. So I just want to give special thanks to Michael 𝗚𝗓𝗏 from Let Me Use His Facilities. And as y'all can see what we got going on back here. Yours truly, you know what I'm saying? Actually, this same painting or this was actually hanging up in 𝗷𝗑𝗧 last year. That's the festival that goes on in Miami every year. And, you know, I was thankful to be able to be displayed on at 𝗷𝗑𝗧. And also, I want to say either last year or this year, it was also hanging up at the Parthenon in Nashville for a display. And yeah, so Michael, he does these shoots where he makes your instrument your face. He has one with Bootsy Collins and a lot of legendary people, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to do that right here in this space. So we're right here at I wish I could turn it around so you can see the laboratory, but I also want to give a shout out to the maestro Greg Burns. He's helping out today, got me going with the setup, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be prepared this time. So I had to call Sweetwater and get tightened up with the microphone. So hopefully y'all getting the crispy sound today. And before we get going, I just want to shout out my brands. So today I'm using the Daru Jones New Yorker, short for DJNY. That's this kit right here. It's the portable vibe. Comes with 3 bags. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you see right here. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really good for portable situations and big situations as well. I use it for most of my gigs. You know what I'm saying? Here in Nashville, and it's a good kit, you know, to bust on the streets if you want to do that. Built for the streets, built for the stage, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we got to sit up here and the sticks I'm using are my Daru Jones Leo, because I'm a Leo, you know what I'm saying? August, Leo's rule, you know what I'm saying? But I'm using this is the second model of the stick. My name is right here, and it's a claw for that beast action, you know what I'm saying? And the color scheme is pretty much a play off the drum kit. You know, as y'all can see, you know, it's like Leo colors. So that's what's going on right here. And these sticks are aluminum. You know what I'm saying? They supposedly last 5 times longer than wood sticks. So, you know, all your heavy hitters, you know, these can last a long time. The cymbals I'm using today are 𝗘𝗧. It's actually my collaboration called the PSTX DJs 45s. You know what I'm saying? Got the little 𝗚𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗘𝗗 records. That's my label and my logo. So it's right here. And basically it's size 12 like vinyl. That's the whole vibe. Like, you know, portable, a cymbal set that you can put in your backpack, you know, being in New York cities and just anywhere in general, you know, sometimes you just playing 2-3 gigs a night, and cymbals are the heaviest thing in life to carry. You know what I'm saying? So I had this ideal, had the opportunity to go to the pipe street factory in Switzerland. And yeah, and they dug the ideal. So here we are. The ride cymbal comes with the set. It's all 12s. And as y'all, I'm gonna play the bell so you can hear it. So it sounds like the big boy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they was able to, you know, to get it to sound like an actual ride, even though it's small. On this side, I'm using the 1210 splash stack to give like that clap sound. So now you can get the clap sound without having an electronic kit or pad. I'm a new Remo Dorsey. Shout out to Roger, you know what I'm saying, Chris, all of the Remo fam, and yeah, I'm on board with them. I actually played Remo as a kid, so I'm glad to be back, you know what I'm saying, on board. They actually make these custom 𝗚𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗔𝗏 drum heads, as y'all can see the face. So basically, if you get these drum heads, you're gonna be able to have that soul hop soul, you know, what you're playing. I'm just kidding. You know what I'm saying? But I remember back in the days when they had the I think it was Reeboks, they made the pumps. I don't know if y'all may be too young for that, but they was like, yo, if you mash on a little pump on the sneaker, you can dunk, you know, you can jump higher. I don't know how true that was, but basically if you get these drum heads, you know, to add a little bit more soul to your playing. That's what we like to think. But anyway, we excited. It's episode 2. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to the guests that we have today. And our topic is going to be how to watch up on my social media game. Wow, that's a great topic. And if y'all don't mind, I'm going to move to the chair. I also want to shout out my co-host, 𝗚𝗘𝗧 𝗜𝗧 via DW. Shout out to the DW fam, Garrison, Scott, Donnell, and the whole team. I'm excited, you know, to be a part of the family. So yeah, so this is a cool topic because as drummers, this is like the new norm. Like I know probably back in the days, like I grew up, you know, I started playing drums when I was, you know, at church when I was 5 years old, and we didn't have social media, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just about the VHS tapes and us transcribing, you know, what we heard, you know what I'm saying? And all the drummers, you know, I started idolizing or admiring the gospel drummers that I was checking out, like Dana Davis and Michael Williams from Commission. You know, these were like the top gospel guys back in the days. There was other ones too, Joe Smith, but these are people that I that I admired. And then eventually, when my order mentors, they put me onto the Buddy Mitchell Memorial Series, I would find out about Benny Colaiuta, Steve Gadd, Dave Weckl, and Tony Williams, and the list goes on. You know what I'm saying? So I would go out. But back in the days, like that was the social media. Going to the drum store, you know what I'm saying? When you get to the checkout, you get your Modern Drummer magazine. You know what I'm saying? It was hard copies. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't anything digital. It was hard copies. Like you had to get the Modern Drummer magazine to get the 411 on what gear, you know, what the latest gear was. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a different day. You know what I'm saying? And then they started making like I know DW. That's what I liked about them because they would have actually promo product VHS tapes that displayed all the kits that they had, and they would showcase different drummers, and that was really cool to see that. So now it's a different day, you know what I'm saying? We're in the future, you know, 2020, and things are differently. So back in the days when you would need, like you would have, you know, you had this team, you would have like your publicist, your manager, people that would do, you know, promo, you know what I'm saying? They would do that for you. You didn't need to have social media because they had a budget. They had people paid to be able to go advertise. You know what I'm saying? They would plaster your name, or, you know what I'm saying? You may be featured in the Modern Drummer magazine, or you know, that was pretty much the vibe. But now everything is just a transition that's taking place. So now it's like, as drummers, to stay relevant, we have to now be our own publicists. We have to now, you know, kind of be our own catalysts just to stay relevant, because there's so many other great, you know, musicians out there, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just like, I think they said when you have a girlfriend, everybody's trying to talk to you, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's hitting you up, but then as soon as you, is that right? Let me get this right. So when you don't have a girlfriend, you may not get hit up, but when you do get a girlfriend, everybody's hitting on you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, like I'm referencing to the game. The more people see you out, you know what I'm saying? They see you active. That's the way to stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's keeping you relevant. Similar to, like, you know, when you're single, nobody's really hollering, but when you get somebody, then everybody's trying to holler. But yeah, so basically now we have the social media that we can use, you know what I'm saying, to help us build awareness. Well, back in the days, really to even get in the magazine, you know what I'm saying, you have to do a lot of, your resume had to be thick just to even get on the radar, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're not playing at any of the festivals that they had going on, or if you didn't have that gig, if you weren't playing with Prince, you know what I'm saying, you can be great, but nobody was able to, you know who you are, you know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing. I definitely think that I'm glad that I came up when I did, you know, via the social media, because basically you just have to work harder. You know what I'm saying? You have to work hard. You had to pay dues. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really want to pay dues. Everybody want the perks of the legends and the OGs like tomorrow, but there's certain things that they have to do to get to where they at. And that, to me, I think that aspect will never, that's going to always be there, because I think for me is nowadays you see people, they get hot, just like a trend. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as that trend is over, you don't hear about them no more. But those that went the long way, you know what I'm saying, and really paid their dues, they know how to sustain when the oil, you know, when that well dry up. You know what I'm saying? They know it's time to get back in that lab and, you know, go back inside and get creative. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I want to talk about my journey. I remember, I think it's when this social media network was called MySpace. I don't know if y'all know about the MySpace days, but MySpace was like, this was before Facebook and all of that. MySpace was like the thing, you know what I'm saying? So it was really cool, you know, that you had your top 8, top 16, your friends or whoever you thought was like, you know, your favorite people, you had them in your butt. MySpace was a thing, and I remember kind of being ahead of the curve, you know what I'm saying? When I was on MySpace, I was networking on there. You know, I took that, you know, I would send messages and try to connect with people, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually, oh yeah, I also want to remind people that for this show, when you ask questions, you guys got opportunity to win some DW PDP swag. You know what I'm saying? So this shirt that I'm rocking today is one of the PDP's shirts. And, you know, I'm a swaggy guy. So, you know, I'm like, man, I may have to do a collaboration with PDP to get some shirts popping. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you guys have an opportunity to win one of these products. We have a women's t-shirt, you know what I'm saying, for the ladies that get it in, and the guys, you know what I'm saying? I think we got to get PDP to make some more bits so we can have a whole little, you know, some flossiness going on. But yeah, looking forward to the questions. I'm sorry to be long-winded, but anyway, just to talk about my journey when MySpace came out. I want to say, was that like around the early 2000s, Greg? You remember when MySpace came out?
Yeah, maybe a little earlier than that.
Oh, that's my helper, Greg. He works for Michael. Yeah, so the early 2000s when MySpace came out, I jumped right on it. You know what I'm saying? I was networking, and then YouTube came out. I don't know if YouTube came out before that, but when YouTube came out, you know, basically when I would go perform, I had bought this Casio camera, and that camera was my best friend. I took that camera with me everywhere I went, and I just documented. I just was recording everything. You know what I'm saying? So I had already had all this footage, and at the time I was touring. You know, I was 𝗕𝗟𝗓𝗏. He's a Brooklyn MC. He's one of the best MCs. You know, he was a part of a group called Black Star with Mos Def. You know what I'm saying? I was 𝗕𝗟𝗓𝗏's music director and drummer. I was playing with another MC from Detroit named Black Milk. You know what I'm saying? That's how I met Jack White through Black Milk. And I was working with a big producer named 𝗬𝗓𝗏𝗏 and the Sensei. 𝗬𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏, he produced Reasonable Doubt. That's Jay-Z's record, the first record came out. And basically, all the shows that I was doing, I was taking pictures and I was recording. I would set up my camera in the back and just let it record. And then I had one of the first Apple computers, and I was using iMovie. I learned how to edit. So I was editing all my videos, and I had started this thing called 𝗬𝗔𝗥𝗏 TV, which is, you know, that's my label is called 𝗬𝗔𝗥𝗏 Records. And 𝗬𝗔𝗥 is, I just took the M off the R. Oh yeah, it's the website right there, 𝗬𝗔𝗥 Records. That's my independent record label. You know what I'm saying? You can go there, you know, check out what's new. You know what I'm saying? I have the products. You know, if you're interested in buying these, there's links on the website. But yeah, so basically, I was recording everything, uploading to YouTube. I started at 𝗬𝗔𝗥 TV, and 𝗬𝗔𝗥 TV was pretty much behind the scenes. So basically, as musicians, we have access. When we play with these artists, we're getting in spaces where the normal public don't be able to get to. So we're able to film the sound checks, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's an artist, we're able to film all this stuff that you would not see back in the days, you could only get those when you would watch the VHS or DVDs. They would have like bonus footage, but fast forward, we was able to modernize it, and I basically, like I said, I had the 𝗚𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗏 TV. You can go on my YouTube channel. It's Daru for 𝗚𝗔𝗥𝗧 my YouTube channel, and I was like everything that I was playing, I was editing and uploading it to YouTube. So that right there, that was like my resume. That's what I use. And basically, when I would go to the conventions and whatnot, or when I would get emails, I would just send them the links. You know what I'm saying? So that was like my proof of me doing this amazing performance. So anyway, Facebook came around, and then that started being the thing, and I had to I got to learn that. So now we have Instagram. IG is like the thing. I like Instagram because it's like you can immediately, to me, it's like the fastest news 411, period. You know what I'm saying? You can do something in real time and post it, and it's live. So yeah, so we got a good topic, we got a good guest, and I guess we're going to bring her up. Shout out to our guest from Toronto, Sarah.
Daru, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being available and being willing. Grateful to have you.
Of course, yes.
Yo, you want to tell them about how we met?
You know what? I've known about you for like decades, and I feel like maybe you found out.
That means I'm an old guy.
No. That just means that you're a legend. That you've been doing so much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we met at PASIC, I think, last year, formally. Yeah.
Yes.
And
good. Sarah, she did an amazing clinic. Was your clinic last year or no?
The clinic was 2019 last year. Sorry, we met 2 years ago.
Got you.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Got you. I got a funny story. So basically, Sarah, she basically, it's this drunken J Dilla style. You know what I'm saying? That's like kind of hip nowadays. And I grab, a lot of us drummers, we gravitated. Rest in peace, J Dilla. You know what I'm saying, for what you've done to the community. You know what I'm saying? We miss you. And basically, yeah, his style basically revolutionized the way that some drummers play, you know what I'm saying, just with the drunken. And basically, Sarah, that was her question that she asked me, she wants to know a little bit more information on how to get that stutter pocket. And I didn't understand her question, and I actually thought that she wanted to know about my history. So I talked Sarah's head off. I told her about my whole career, and she was like, well, I just really had to, I don't know how you said it, but I was really trying to get some information about the deal.
You know what? You sat down so generously, and you just shared with me so much in the middle of PASIC, and that is one of the nicest things that anyone has ever done for me. So I appreciate that so much, man. That was a good moment. It's
all good. I'm an energy person, you know what I'm saying? I'm all about positive energy, and it's funny, the music, it's just as an entertainer, I don't think people understand this. You may just meet somebody for the first time, you know what I'm saying? But if you vibe with that person, that's your end.
Yes.
It's not about you need to know them for a long time. It's crazy how that works.
No, it's so true.
So if the energy, when I met Sarah, she was kindred spirit. She had a beautiful energy, and she was already talented. I was a fan. Dang, she was. I think what bugged me out when I saw her, she flipped the Mario. She was doing, was that the Mario?
Yeah, I remember you came up to me, and you're like, the Mario stuff, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, man, it was fun.
Yeah, I never heard anybody do that, but I want to stop talking, and I want to let Sarah do her thing. You want to tell them something about yourself, or how
yeah?
Feel free. Yep.
Awesome. So my name is Sarah. I'm based in Toronto, Canada. I started playing drums at about age 2, first stage performance at age 5. Grew up playing a lot of Indian music. I was self-taught from a young age. I had my first official drum lesson in university at age 18. Play a lot of genres, jazz, played gospel music in a church for 6 years, hip-hop, R&B, a lot of Indian music, Latin music. I love fusion. So now I'm at a place in my life, I play with a bunch of artists, but I try to do my own thing, and having social media kind of gives us drummers a platform to really explore and not worry about, okay, I have to learn this song a certain way, which that is amazing to get money and to work, but also we can just kind of express ourselves. So that's what I'm doing right now, especially in this quarantine time.
Awesome. So Sarah, When did you start being on the social media? Like, when did you really start getting it in?
So I would say 2009 was when YouTube, I think, was really getting hot. Like I remember Justin Bieber was posting a bunch of videos at that time. And I think 2009, I was like 15 or 16 or something like that. So that's when I started posting videos around that time.
Wow. So
Yeah.
before that, what did you do then?
I was gigging around Toronto and around Canada. And, you know, for me, the motivation was I always wanted to come to LA and New York really badly and go to the NAMM show. But my parents were like, get your music degree, finish school, then you can go. But until then, you cannot go. So I was like, okay, cool, fine. I'll finish my school, I'll get my music degree, and I'll keep making videos in my basement so people know like that I can play. And when I get to LA and when I get to New York, people won't be like, who is she? They'll already have kind of a thought of how I play, or, you know, so that was kind of the motivation of really being active on social media.
Okay, awesome. So
Yeah.
what was that, like the transitioning point where you feel like, okay, I gotta really step this up? Was it like you may have seen other drummers and they were using the social media platforms, like, man, I gotta, like, did you have endorsements back then?
No, like I didn't have endorsements until like maybe 4 years after that. But like I was seeing on YouTube, you know, Modern Drummer Festival. I was seeing people who were playing with Stanley Clarke, people who were playing with Marcus Miller, like all the people that I was dying to play for and meet. And I'm like, I need to get there somehow. So I was playing gigs like 5 days a week around Canada and Toronto, staying up until 4 a.m, like shaking hands. Anybody who would come from the States to Toronto, I waited till the end. So I was hustling and bustling in Canada. But I'm like, everything is in LA and in New York. Everything is in the States. So that's what really, you know, motivated me to get on that.
Okay, so that's a good point. That's
Yeah.
a good point. And I would say nowadays, back in the days, that used to be the thing. Like they would
Yeah.
say, you need to be in like a bigger city where it's a lot of things that's happening. But nowadays,
Yeah.
you can be at home. You know what I'm saying? You don't have
Yeah.
to travel. You like I remember having that mentality, like, man, I need to be in a big city just to get noticed. But thankfully, we have this technology. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of
Yes.
people blow up just playing in their room. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just like, yo, to each his own. I'm not saying how the longevity is going to work out for that, because the
Yeah.
real test is when you're on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you know, become an overnight sensation, and I'm not mad at it, become an overnight sensation just because you play in your room, but what you gonna do when you get on that stage when you're playing when you're backing an artist?
Yeah.
Because you gotta, bring the right tools and be able to play in that environment, because when you play to yourself, it's all about you. But
Yes.
when you're on stage, it's all about being a team player. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
sir.
So I just think it's good if to have that balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I just think I want to say also encourage people that just the basics. If we can do it, you can do it too. That's what this show is all about. This show is not about to criticizing, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. Your gifts will make room for you. That's what I was told when I came up in church. You know what I'm saying? If you be faithful to your gift, find a lane you want to be in and stick with it. That's another thing too. I know Sarah too, because I know you had to find a lane. You have to go with the inside, because that's the thing when that's the only downside about the social media, because like some people are like, and I'm not mad at it, it's like a bandwagon. Well, back in the days when you were not able to see Vinny chops on where you can just copy it.
Yeah.
You have to literally like listen to the recordings and try to transcribe it. But now it's so easy for people to just see somebody on the socials and just nick, you know what I'm saying, slow it down. And there's a lot of that going on. And I just think that it's not a balance. It needs to be a balance of people being authentic. You know what I'm saying? And I
completely agree.
It depends on the type of musician that you want to be. But as far as the social media, when you're trying to make your awareness, it's like, okay, we have to find something that's going to give us our voice. Otherwise, we're just going to be sounding like everybody else. So it's cool to be able to go to the Drummers, and shout out to Drummers, to the team. I love what they're doing, and it's like that's their thing. Online drum lessons. If you want to learn how to play the fastest double kick, that's their thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool to learn that. But at the same time, when you're using the social media, you still want to find a way to find your identity. You know what I'm saying? So you want to add anything to that, Sarah?
Yes, you said it perfectly, that the secret sauce, I believe, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, of being successful in social media as a working musician, touring musician, but also kind of having social media success is to find that perfect balance between, videotaping your gigs. I always have my iPhone and a tripod, no matter which gig that I play at. And then when I have a weekend off, I'll quickly like do some experimental stuff in my basement. But it's that secret sauce of, I consider myself to be a live player first, because I started on stage when I was 5 years old. And then
Wow.
yeah, so it's that definitely finding that hybrid piece. And everybody, like you said, has their own purpose. There are people who have online drum lessons who are so amazing at what they do, and some people just want to be basement drummers. But I feel like one thing that gets very lost is in the hype of likes and views and followers, rather than what is your purpose as a drummer? Who do you want to play for? Do you just want to get famous for the sake of getting famous? For me, that's a very superficial kind of thing, because again, what are you going to do with that? So really having a clear purpose of what you want, I think, is so important.
Yeah, those are spot on, great points, Sarah. Great
Yeah.
points. Well, I definitely want to commend you, for what you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just from the short time that I've known you, like, you really getting it in. You're doing the right stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that goes along with the topic, but
Yeah.
I always talk about that. Relationships are the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? On all levels.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to just see all the things that you've done. And check Sarah out on Instagram. Like, I think that the latest thing that I saw her was who was that the sax player?
It was a 𝗟𝗓𝗘. I just took his song. Yeah. And I love sampling and stuff like that. So I take like a bunch of songs. Like I took a 50 Cent song, I think like 2 weeks ago, and I just cut some loops, and then you hit a loop and you hit a sample, and then you like improvise or you play some grooves on top of that. It's so much fun.
That's so killing. That was so killing.
Yeah.
So I like
Thanks.
that you like, and I know coming up, even as a teenager, being inspired by all the greats, it's like, man, you do what kids do. You want to be like your hero.
Yeah.
You try to do everything that they do, but just depends on the type of drummer that you want to be. I'm commending you because I can tell you went deep inside. It's like, man, I see what Sheila E is doing, and I don't want to be like, yo, it's a female and male drummer thing. We all on the same playing field. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
We all playing the same gigs.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I don't want to say, just because I'm a male, I'm a better drummer than a female drummer. We drummers, period. That's just the common, denominator. But just to keep it 100, you being a female drummer and you looking, who are some of your heroes that you were checking out on the female side of things?
Well, I love Cindy Blackman, and she's going to be on here later. She's incredible. I love Carlos Santana's music as well. I grew up with his music. I love Sheila E. We've been in communication, for the past while, and she's so supportive, and I really appreciate that so much. With guy drummers that I like a lot, I love Billy Cobham. I love Tony Williams. I love Daru Jones, Yeah, man. Oh, please, yes. So like a bunch of people, you know what? And I think the important thing about social media that has really helped me finding out about a lot of drummers and what they do on their spare time is I use social media as my resume, as my walking, talking resume. Being a female, which I don't like, but being a girl that plays drums in the scene, when I was starting out, every time I would walk into a room, everyone would be like, oh, are you the vocalist? Or when I was on tour, oh yeah. Like, I was on tour for 2 months last year, and every time I walked onto the stage for 2 months, it was like, are you with the band? Are you here to sell merchandise? And I'm like, come on. So I was like, okay, if I work on my social media, no matter where I go, and if someone just looks at me and doesn't think I can play, I can just pull it up on my phone and say, here's my resume. Here's what I can do. So don't condescend me because of my gender,
Wow. Just to add to what you're saying too, I love all the people that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I want to call you, Sarah. She's fearless. The reason why I say that, man, I've saw Sarah be like the only female, like when you go to NAMM, they have these jam sessions. You know what I'm saying? And they would have a drummer get on and play. You know what I'm saying? But they would have all these stars, like amazing. But I've seen Sarah in a few situations, and she didn't get intimidated. She went and destroyed. I'm like, back in the days, you know, you would get frightened if you get in the room with all these other weights. You're like, man, I got to play after them. But I never seen Sarah because she never got shook. She came with the heat. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and the same thing. What did I see you? Oh, at the jam card.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Shout out to Elmo Jam Card. If y'all not here, that's an application for musicians. It's like the LinkedIn for musicians. You know what I'm saying? Check the app out. You know, it's good to network on there with other famous musicians. It's like our business card. But so earlier, was that this year?
Yeah, that was in January before COVID hit.
Pre-COVID, when you could be around and hug, Sarah, you know what I'm saying, and hug your peoples. So Jam Card had this really cool event, and I was one of the featured drummers. It was crazy. It was crazy. So all these celebrity musicians are in the building, and they call Sarah up to double drum. Was it a double drum thing?
For mine, it was just me on drums.
Oh, and she just, I'm like, do I gotta play after this?
Oh, please.
But you know what? I want to say, drummers, when you get in those situations, what I've learned, instead of being intimidated, do you.
Yes.
Do you play from your heart? And once you do that, that's going to convey. Because I noticed for me, when I would watch shows, even if the artist can't sing that good or they can't play, if they play from their heart, that's an energy transferring, and that resonates with people. You know what I'm saying? So it's as humans, we see our other person that's playing, you're like, oh man, I got to come after them.
Yeah.
That's not the mentality. You know what I'm saying? But unless you're doing a battle, that's when you bring that in. But if you're in a situation where you playing behind people, don't be intimidated. Just go up there and do what you do, and do the heck out of it, and do your best. With that said, do we want to give some questions? Y'all have any questions for Sarah? Any questions? Jules?
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
So you're so 100% right. And, one thing that I've learned is just be yourself behind the drums. And when you think of comparing yourself, you're just kind of worried about your ego. But when your purpose is the music, making the music better, having great energy, it doesn't matter who's great and who's bad, because competition is like we create that in our mind. But if you really think about it, there's no such thing as who's better and who's worse, because someone can say Dave Weckl is better. No, 𝗕𝗏𝗘 is better. No, everyone has an opinion. So I think it's just really tapping into that. Then your confidence, in my opinion, just like soars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are good points. Hey,
yeah.
Guys. Oh, there's amazing. You see the shout outs you're getting?
Thank you.
So a lot of great pointers, and
yeah,
that was spot on. So how we looking with time? Where we at? I can't see. 2:35. So Sarah, you have anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to chat with you virtually, and keep inspiring us. I'm always inspired by you, your swag, your drums, the way you set up your SNL performance on your Instagram. Everyone has to check that out.
Oh my God.
Like you put your head down, you put your arms out, you're playing the groove, the pocket. Amazing, man. Thank you for everything.
I appreciate it. I really wish you see that kit behind there? I really wish Sarah was ready. She could give us something, but we're gonna say that for another time. Next time, because we want to make sure y'all get the crispy audio. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I want to thank Sarah for taking our time with us.
Thank you.
Shout out to the Pocket Queen. She was our original guest, but some came up. Yes. But yeah, she's doing her thing. And today is Women's Day. You know what I'm saying? I want to take the show and shine some light on these beautiful ladies. I'm surprised nobody acts like, why are you so pretty? Like, what do you know? Like,
that's too sweet, man.
Y'all can ask any questions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's parental. So feel free. Don't be shy. We're here to answer any questions. But snap. Hello, Daru. Sarah, what is the simplest editing platform? You want to answer that, Sarah?
I used to use iMovie religiously. I kind of moved up to Final Cut Pro, and to me, Final Cut Pro is like a higher version than iMovie. So easy to navigate. Yeah. Final Cut. So yeah, I used that before back in the days, but it's so advanced because you got to render everything. Yeah. I just use iMovie. Just keep it easy. That's killer. Just the basics. Just I would say use
some people think you got to have Pro Tools and all of the latest just to get it in, but use what works for you.
Yeah,
just,
man.
You know, the same thing with sampling. You know, those that know about the samplers, they have the SP12. The SP is just like, you don't have that much time, but some of the producers make the best beats on it. Yeah. Because they don't have that much time, and then you have the MPC 2000s where you have all the time. So just use what works for you. You know what I'm saying? I think our next guest is ready to come on, but Sarah, thank you so much. And
thank you.
I want to shout out Billy from I want to shout out Billy. Oh, somebody had one more question. And okay, Jules? You got another question? Can you see the question, Sarah?
How else do you double dip on getting social media content while being busy with professional work? So, how you said, Daru, just use anything that you have. I just use an iPhone for every single video that I have. So I walk around with my tripod and I'll keep in my mind, okay, I like this minute from that minute, this drum solo at that venue was good. Then after the show, I just sit there, cut, save, post it the next day. So just like make it a part of your daily routine rather than, oh my God, I have to be active on social media. Make it a part of what you're doing every day, I would say.
That's a great answer. And Jules, oh yeah. If y'all want to follow Sarah and see all the creative, amazing bits, this is where to catch her.
Thank you. Yes.
Follow her now.
Right now.
Hopefully we'll be able to do a double drum thing at some point.
Dude, you message me, I'm down anytime, and you know that.
Oh my God. I finally talked to 𝗬𝗧 and got the proper miking, and I just got the 𝗬𝗡𝗏, and I'm trying to figure it out. Hopefully my brother Greg can get me situated. But But before you go, Billy, Jules, I saw Billy that he popped up from Modern Drummer. Do you know who Billy is? Sarah?
I don't know him personally, no, but I love Modern Drummer for sure.
Yeah,
for
Billy
many
is
years.
Billy is one of the guys. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
He gave a shout out earlier, but thank you so much for coming on the show. My
pleasure. Yes.
Are you in T-Dot?
I am in 𝗕𝗏, Canada.
T-Dots, yo, I love T-Dots. You know what I'm saying? T-Dots got, that's a cool place. That's in Canada, Toronto. Yeah. And thank you so much. Hope you have a beautiful week. And looking forward to seeing you again when things, come back around. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To normal.
Amazing. Take care, my brother. You too.
Take care. Yep,
bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so that was really cool. Hopefully y'all got some good, some good insight on how Sarah is using social media. And yeah, so just real quick before we bring our next guest. So I want to give you all this story. It was bugged out. So this past week, I started back working out in the gym. As you can see, I'm trying to get a little buff ups. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I was on my way to the gym on Wednesday, right? And I had planned on going to the gym and then go. It's this venue, actually, where I did my first show called the Flamingo Club. And yeah, they had just started. This was their first open jam session. They had from since COVID and the pandemic. They was bringing it. They was bringing it live. Where the musicians would come in and jam. So I was excited. I was like, yo, I saw the post. I was literally planning on going to the gym and then going to the Flamingo Club. And as I was getting ready to go into the gym, my rock boss, Jack White, I call him J Dubs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we got Cindy coming in a couple minutes, but just to tell the story, I was walking into the gym, and Jack White, he has his ways of summoning us, you know what I'm saying? So I get a text, and then out of nowhere I get a FaceTime. I'm like, yo, what's going on? I feel like something was urgent, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo. And he basically, invited me to back him on Saturday Night Live. I hope that y'all caught it. We was on Saturday Night this past Saturday. We had to fill in for somebody else that got knocked off. But yeah, I'm really thankful for all this, all of the positivity and all of the, it's overwhelming. Like phone is just going crazy. But I thank you guys for all the love. I appreciate it. And with that said, if you're ready, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Just to quote. But right now, we're going to bring up our next guest. We have the legendary, wonderful, and my new good friend, Cindy Blackman, Santana.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
All is blessed and well. I'm just trying to make the best of it like we all are,
Absolutely, every time, always.
Yeah, so do you want to give a little back. I know people, they know who you are, but feel free if you want to just give a little backstory or anything that you want to say right now.
Well, I was born in Ohio, Yellow Springs, Ohio, very small town. It's actually called a large village, and population was about 3,000, which was great because it was a very creative little community. And another beautiful thing about it was that anything you did, you had to own, because everybody knew, you know, and our kids were, you know, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother, and we were pretty much the only Black kids in town with freckles and red hair. So we had to own everything. So, you know, that was a great lesson for me. And that has carried on, you know, to own everything, to be responsible for myself, and to be responsible for all my actions, you know, and that leads me into, you know, the situation that we're in right now in the world. You know, we all need to take responsibility for what's happening, and we all have to understand that the change is in our own hands. And we can change things, but we have to look ourselves in the mirror and do that and be that and want that, you know. So, you know, I left there when I was about 11. Got my lessons from there. I went to the East Coast. Eventually went to Berklee College of Music, and then my goal and dream was to move to New York. So I was able to do that at a time when, you know, so many of the masters were alive and well. Art Blakey, you know, and he befriended me and befathered me. He's like a papa to me. I babysat for his kids, you know, so I was at his house like every day.
Wow.
Elvin, Max, Roy, Tony, Philly, Jimmy Cobb, Billy Higgins, Billy Hart, Al Foster, Lewis Hayes. I even met Kenny Clark, saw Papa Joe, you know, all the greats were, all the great drummers were there, all the great musicians were there, Dexter, Woody Shaw, Miles, of course, Freddie Hubbard, you know, Dizzy Gillespie, you know.
Oh my God.
So many greats. Even met the great bass player Sam Jones, you know. So it was alive, it was on, it was so popping at that point, you know. It was just great to be there and to have that experience. So that led me to, you know, doing a lot of gigs around town. I played on the street for a couple of summers in a row, 5 days a week. We played from like 12 to 6 or 7. You know, you
were playing kid, or you was playing like some pots, or like what were you playing?
I was playing a kid.
Oh, okay.
Remember the stretch kid, you know.
Okay. Oh, you early. Okay, you early on the gretsch. Okay. Yeah, I see.
You know, I started out with a little Slingerland kit, and I got a Gretsch snare drum, and that Gretsch snare drum blew my whole kit away. It sounded better than the Slingerland kit. So I was like, oh, I gotta get some Gretsch drums here.
Wow.
I was able to get my first antique walnut kit. I still have that kit.
What?
Oh, it's so beautiful, and it had some nicks and stuff. So I sent it to Gretsch recently, and they refurbished the kit. It's beautiful. It looks so pretty. Oh, so I still have that kit. I played around New York. Played with a lot of jazz musicians there, like Jackie McLean. A lot of saxophone players, Jackie McLean, Joe Henderson. A lot of different people, you know, in my peer group, like Wallace Roney and
yeah.
Steve Coleman, you know, a lot of different people who, you know, were, you know, my peers, as I said. And I played with Angela Bofield for a while.
Wow.
I did a great stint with Don Pullen, the great piano player. I did like 3 years with him. And then I did a bunch of years with Lenny Kravitz. I started playing with him, and we played.
I don't want to I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to say that was my introduction to you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And first, I want to really thank you for taking our time. Do your Googles. You know what I'm saying? We got a legend. You know what I'm saying? She's a genre bending drummer. And Cindy plays her swag on all the genres. You know what I'm saying? But my first introduction, you know, was seeing you on the video with Lenny Kravitz, and I was like, yo, who is that? It reminded me. And not saying because you had an afro, it reminded me of the first time I saw 𝗚𝗓𝗧 playing hip hop with you know, live hip hop. I was like, yo, who was this cat? Yeah. Like, that was my first introduction to like a live band playing hip hop, and just to coincide with you, that was my first. I was like, yo. First I was like, she's beautiful. Like You know what I'm saying? I would have been trying to holler, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I was like, she's a cutie. And it was just that was ahead of the game. Like I don't know if you really seen, besides Sheila E., you weren't really seeing a lot of female, and I hate to say this, like female, you know, drummers like being showcased in videos. So that was like major.
No, you weren't, not even, you know, in bands at that point, you know, but fortunately that's changing, you know, but at that point, you know, there weren't a lot. I mean, but for me, that was really never a factor, you know, because I started when I was so young and I didn't know that it was kind of a faux pas for a young girl, you know, to play drums. I had no idea because I was too young to know. And I never heard my parents say that. You know, fortunately for me, my parents didn't say that. They only said, oh, the drums are loud and they're expensive. We don't know if we can afford them and we don't know if we want to hear them. You know, so that's all I heard. I didn't hear, you know, like, oh, we can't get you that because you're a girl. My parents never, ever said that. So I was lucky to grow up in a household like that, you know. And I didn't hear anything like that until I did my first professional gig at 13. You know, I was in the club playing, and then I heard some crazy comments from some guys at the bar. And, you know, I felt it, but I went home, I set my drums back up in my basement, I started playing, and I forgot all about it.
Oh my God.
Yet another lesson for me, you know, it's like, what does it matter what somebody else thinks? It's not really my business, and I don't really care. You know, I'm here to do what I want to do. I'm here to do, you know, my best for the world. You know, I'm here to offer my energy. You know, and if somebody else can't see that, then I think that's their problem.
Yeah, you hit it right on. That's what I want to touch on, and that's commendable. When I was talking to Sarah, I brought up I'm an energy person. You know what I'm saying? And like for your caliber, it doesn't matter. It's just an energy thing. And I know when I met you, we just had kindred spirit. And I remember we had a really cool conversation. We was talking about swag. We was talking about fashion. Because I forgot, was that at Pacing? What was that at? Was that in there? What was that?
That was at Pacing, I believe.
At Pacing. And you were doing the clinic as well?
Yep. We were both doing clinics.
Okay. Yeah, we were both doing the clinic, and that was my first clinic at Pacing. So Cindy's like, she's been doing this, you know what I'm saying? But I was just to be able to do that on that platform, it was a blessing. But it was cool because I had always knew about you, and I was a fan. You know, I was a fan, and it was just cool when I met you. Your energy, we just kindred spirits, and basically we just locked in on fashion. And when I told you I was, you know, lived in New York, and we just talked about the fashion, and we just was like, yeah. And I think we were just like, man, we both was like, we like the winter time because you can dress up, you can gear it up, you know what I'm saying? And as y'all know, Cindy's she's a swag queen, you know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, for musicians, they will always say image is everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's very important to not only just have the chops, but work on your image too, you know what I'm saying? And Cindy, similar flamboyant swag, so it was just cool to finally talk with her. We had a great conversation, and we exchanged information, and now we're here. I'm thankful that I'm able to have her on the show. And basically, we touch on the topic. You know, the name of the topic is how can I step up my social media game? Being that you came up in an era where that was not around, you basically had to pay dues. You know what I'm saying? And build up to get recognized, to get invited to a Modern Drummer Festival. How challenging was it for you to make that transition to have, you know, like now as a drummers, we got to do everything. We got to take pictures. We got to, you know, with so much stuff that we have to do to stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? And like nowadays, you can be dope, but if you don't have the flossiness or somebody promoting you, you get kind of lost in the sauce.
You know, and that's too bad. That's one of the downfalls of things that are happening today. You know, people are so into numbers and so into
the gimmicks
that have nothing to do with music that, you know, a lot of times the real craft, the art, and, you know, the virtuosity gets really, like you said, it gets lost, you know. And so we have to remind not only ourselves, but we have to remind the next generations who didn't grow up in that, that is what's first. And, you know, I love fashion, as you know. I love style. We talked about that.
Yes.
I love to see it on people, you know, like Miles Davis said, well, I can't play if I don't look good.
Y'all came up in that time when you had to be 100. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
You had to be 100. That's right. You had to be 100 times. 100 times 100. But the thing is, those cats, they were 100 times 100 on that tip, but they were 1,000 times 1,000, a million times a million on at-home practicing, probably in their PJs. Who cares? Nobody sees them. But they were hitting it. That's the thing. They were not afraid to spend time on their instrument, not afraid to be alone with themselves, alone with their instrument, and hit it. Not afraid to get together with other cats and experiment and try things. So like 𝗬𝗘𝗓, who great drummer, we became really good friends. He was telling me that he used to do, and he grew up in Harlem. He was telling me he used to go downtown and do sessions and or gigs, from like, let's say 9 to 1 or 2. And then he would go uptown and start a session, like a late night session at like 3 or 4, and play all the way up until like 9 in the morning.
New York hustle.
Breakfast, go get some sleep, then start the whole thing again. So those cats were playing around the clock. They were playing all the time. And how all that music was developed, So we understand that it takes more than just pushing a button to really hone in on a sound. And there are things you can do with pushing buttons, yes, but you need to hone in on a sound, hone in on a concept, hone in on developing your instrument, getting your together, getting your touch together, deciding on your path, also being open to allowing spirit to come in and give you channelings for the music.
Yes, yes.
That will help bring energy to this very moment, to this very timeline, because we need the energies from our elders. We need the energies and messages from those who know better than we do.
Spot on. Yes, yes.
If we allow some quiet time, we're going to get those messages. I've had dreams where I remember when I first came to New York, I was trying to learn this particular thing that Tony Williams was doing. I don't have it quite yet. I don't have it. And I dreamt him showing me how to do it. And the next morning I woke up and I could do it.
What?
So we need to get quiet with ourselves so that we allow spirit to come in. That's one of the things that we need to do.
I love all those points, Cindy. I want to say too, rest in peace, Tony. You know what I'm saying? Very influential to all of us in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that drummers and musicians, period, respect your elders and give praise to, you know what I'm saying? Where where it came from, and it's not taking nothing away from you. Never forget your roots and you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I want to know what made you, like, when social media came around, like as far as like Instagram, were you kind of struggling like, man, I don't want to use this technology because I'm already made. Like, you're already made. You got the gig already. You know what I'm saying? But like, what made you feel like, okay, I need to get on social media? Is that something that you can answer?
Absolutely, and thanks for asking that. And I think I'm probably very similar with you. I find the silver lining in things, and there are a lot of great things about the internet and social media, because you can reach people all over the world that you've never been able to reach before. You can reach somebody in the mountains of Tibet.
Yes.
Somebody in India who you might never come in. So to me, there are very positive ways to use this platform and these different platforms that have come up, and I'm still learning how to do it. I'm figuring out, how to really galvanize all of these articles that are at our fingertips, all these tools that we can use, but to use them in ways that promote the music positively, that promote creativity and promote really honing in on a craft and not just relying on, one of the technical things to play the music for you. We can use those things within the music, but we must need to know how to do it, how to play, and you were talking about the history, the lineage is so important, so one of the things that makes Tony as great as he is that he was such a studied drummer, and we hear other cats that have really no link to the lineage, and there's some substance that's certainly and sorely missing, so I try to make sure I'm immersed in the lineage all the time, whether I'm using that particular thing or not. Is in here, it's in my head, and it's in my heart, and it's in the history of what I'm playing.
Yes.
you know, so that I understand that and I can use that as a choice, but it's also making up my core and my base.
Wow.
So to me, that makes you a much more well-rounded musician, makes you a much more well-rounded drummer. It just makes you able to also have choices. You know, I love choices. I don't want to be limited to doing only this thing because that's all I can do. You know, if you have a choice to do something, then you know you are your own captain of your own ship. You know, you're not driven by something else, and you do that very well because you are very original. Like, you look at your setup. You know, when I first met you, I actually hadn't heard you, and then you said something, and I'm looking you up. I'm like, hey, this brother, you know, you got the funk happening. I really love it. And I started checking out some of the stuff you were doing. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why that record sounds so good. You know?
Appreciate it.
You know? Okay, all right. These brothers, you know, they're thinking they got the, you know, like my dad said, it ain't just a hat rack, you know.
Yes. Yeah, so that I appreciate it, Cindy. So yeah, just in the long story short, Cindy, you seem like you just wanted to work on your brand first, as a you know, overall getting you know what I'm saying, and then you was able to just use the social media, because now I'm seeing that you know, you're an artist, you're singing, you know what I'm saying, you got a new project that's out. Get a drummer some?
Yes, give the drummer some. And
so
it's,
yes, yeah,
yes.
Go ahead.
Please.
Yeah, so basically, I guess I like how you're taking the social media and using it for that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, you stepping into an artist. I think I saw like you did like was it like a mini doc, or you just talking about, you know, you stepping out, you know, doing the artist thing, and I like how you're using it. You're like, okay, now I can add the social media and use it for this part. This don't have nothing really to do with the craft, but it's just to do what labels, you know, that have the budget, like publicists, because it's really hard. Like, if you don't not marketing yourself, you know what I'm saying, you're not really being seen. So I like how you took the social media and you're using it for that.
Oh, thank you. We have to now, because, you know, not many people are getting signed. You know, a lot of the deals that people are getting suck. So, you know,
oh my God.
You know, so we have to really know how to promote ourselves and how to really push things forward. You know, and like I said, when we're the captain of our own ship, we're much better for it. And, you know, if we can be as independent as possible, then that's going to be fantastic. You know, like I said, also a lot of the labels are only signing certain types of artists, certain types of genres, certain types of music. You know, so if you don't fit into that category, you know, just because you don't fit into someone else's idea of what a category is, that little box that they've drawn, doesn't mean that you're not valid. Doesn't mean that your stuff is not great. Doesn't mean that what you're going to do, you know, is not worthy or not going to be liked or enjoyed, you know, by other people. So we have to legitimately find ways to push ourselves out there. The only drawback to that is that anybody can push themselves out there. So you have people who, you know, just have like not studied the music at all, you know, not very versed in the music, and you know, amateur fun is okay. You know, that's part of it. But when you're talking about, you know, this whole internet of things, that means anybody can like just push some buttons and say, oh, I got this song. You know, I'm an artist now. I'm great. Well, you know, this is like one of the tiers. You know, the social media is one of the tiers of presenting your music and presenting what you're doing, getting the ideas across. But there are many other tiers that are like the behind the scenes stuff. You know, like when you set up your kit, you've already tuned it and got it sounding like you want it to sound. Right. You know, so that was the work that you did beforehand. You know, when you know, you've probably written most of the music already, or you got some sketches or some ideas, you know, and then you build from there. So when you're presenting your music, you know, you've already done a lot of homework. You know, this morning before coming here, I already practiced for 3 hours. Exactly. You know, yes, because I gotta keep that happening. You know, I gotta keep my flow happening, especially this time where nobody's playing. You know, if you're not keeping your flow happening, it's gonna start showing. You know, so you know, there's work that we do, there's stuff that we do And you know, for me, playing my drums is not a task. So to practice my peace, it's like my meditation, it's my prayer, it's my Cindy time. I love doing that. You know, if I don't do that, then I'm probably a little grumpy.
I love all those points, Cindy. Yeah, and I don't want to keep you too long because I know time is precious. And we're going to ask some questions in 1 second, but I just want to, you know, say overall so we can wrap this up and get some questions. We have the power when we're pushing these buttons, right? So you get out what whatever you get out, whatever you put out is what you're going to receive back. You know, so just be mindful when you're doing your post. Just be mindful. You know what I'm saying? Just try to be as positive as you can if you want those type of outcomes. I can definitely attest because I'm definitely, you know, I can tell you're a spiritual person. I am too. You know what I'm saying? So prayer, meditation. So when you recording, whatever you're doing for yourself, what you're going to put out to promote, just be mindful because you're going to get it back. So if you put out positivity, whatever you're writing, you know what I'm saying? Just be mindful. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. And yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. And we thank you, Sydney. But we want to take a couple questions just in case somebody wants to ask you. Jules, you got some questions for Cindy? Cool.
We're spending time today. Only a few people. Okay. When did or who influenced you to discover the spirit side? Okay. This is from Chris, and he wants to know when did or who influenced me to discover the spiritual side. That's a beautiful question, Chris. Thank you for asking that. You know, my family is highly spiritual. My grandmothers were so spiritual. Both of them were really involved in the church, but not just the sociability of church. They were just really spiritual women, spiritual people, you know, spiritual souls. And I saw that in everything that they did every day, every interaction that they had, just really beautiful people. So I was brought up with a family of people. My mom is extremely spiritual. She's just she just looks at you and you feel that, you know, you feel her soul and you feel her spirit. And so I started, you know, meditating at a very early age. I was, you know, it's interesting because I was brought up in a Baptist and Methodist kind of church, and both, you know, from both sides of my parents, my grandparents, and from my mom. And when I was 13, we had moved out of Ohio already. We were in Connecticut, and I was actually flying a kite, and my kite fell in this woman's yard. And so I was like, oh, shoot. All right, let me go grab the kite. Sneaking through the yard to grab my kite. And this lady comes out and I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble now. I'm in somebody's yard. She's going to yell at me. Right. And so she's like, hi, what's your name? And so, you know, she started talking to me and she was so nice. And she and her husband had this little newborn baby. He was about 4 or 5 months old. I became their babysitter because we just hit it off really well. And I asked her one day, I said, what is it that makes you such an incredible spirit and such a nice person? She says, well, I can be that way because I'm a Baha'i. And I was like, well, what is a Baha'i? These books about the Baha'i faith. And so at 13, I was turned on to the Baha'i faith. I started reading books. I started meditating. I started reading all the prayers. And, you know, I declared as a Baha'i at 18. So that was a big thing for me that got me through a lot of teen years without getting into much trouble because wow. I had really good guidelines, you know, from which to adhere to. And then I studied later in life. I studied Kabbalah for like 4 or 5 years. I studied Falun Dafa for another 4 or 5 years. And now I take metaphysics classes. You know, so I'm really studying a lot of metaphysical classes. So I keep it going. But there's been a lot throughout my life, Chris, that has really led me to the spiritual side, and music leads me to the spiritual side because to me, I think that's the most passionate way to connect to spirit for me. And I think that it's a great way to channel spirit. So all these things, you know, led me to that.
Wow, I love that question, and I think that's why we connected on the kindred spirit, level. Because when you watch Cindy play, it's out of body experience. You know what I'm saying? When you can tell that she's like in meditation mode, like she's just flowing, and I like that because just not outside of playing, you want to. I like people that when I leave them, they make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? So like when you see your performance, it makes you feel good. You don't know why you feel better, but it's because of how that person is living and the energy that they're transferring. And that's the type of walk that I try to do too. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
that's very important, and you are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
that's right.
If you're a junkie person, and you can have all the chops in the world, but that's the energy that you're going to leave with people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I really like what you said. And I guess should we take one more question and then wrap it up, Jules? You got anybody?
How do you feel? This is from 𝗕𝗟𝗧 Drums. I like 𝗕𝗟𝗧. I like that. Copyright issues found while sharing such things as drum covers on YouTube, for example. Drum covers.
I may be able to touch on this. Can you put that up one more time, Jules?
How do you feel about the copyright issues found while sharing such things as drum covers? You mean covers of songs?
No, I think I know what they're trying to say. So just like because they're cracking down on the laws, like I'm not sure when you see like DJ D Nice, they doing like the live DJ streaming on Instagram. And Questlove, they all doing it. It's like the thing because we're in quarantine mode. We're not able to go out to parties. So basically, the DJs they're doing it. They're doing their sets on the live. And now because licensing, people are not getting money. So they found a way to like basically what they started doing after an hour, they will shut you down. Because basically you're playing, it's like bootlegging music. And I get it. I get it because the labels, they feel like they may be losing money because you can basically have a DJ play the song and it's in full quality and the person can just record it. So that means that they're not going to go to iTunes and buy it. So I just think that basically the question is, I just think for creatives, it sucks because some of us, like myself, I like playing the tracks. And like when I go live, sometimes I'm playing the tracks and it may not be instrumental. It might be an 𝗟𝗑𝗑 𝗏𝗏 track. And when we play in our clinics, sometimes that's what we're doing. We're doing a solo and then sometimes we're playing the tracks. But now they're shutting it down because of the infringements. And when you play this stuff on, if you do like a clinic live, if you don't have I don't know how they do it, they're able to like know that you're playing to like the original and you would get shut down. You know what I'm saying? So it's frustrating as creatives. Like our earlier guest, Sarah, what she would do is she would sample like a John Coltrane or Mario Brothers, and she would trigger that and play. It's so tight now where they might shut her down, and that stops her from being creative. You know what I'm saying? So that's frustrating. Let's say I saw a Brazilian artist get. Go ahead. You can expound to Cindy.
Yeah, I dig what you're saying. I feel mixed about it, honestly, because on one hand, the artists who originated that music need to get compensated.
I hear that.
You know what I mean? On one hand, they need to get compensated. There was there were no copyright laws, and maybe there still aren't in Japan. And there was a big, huge thing, some years ago about Japan because they just bootleg everything.
Wow.
I one time with Lenny, and I brought a whole suitcase home. I brought like 70 VHS tapes home. Bootlegs, concerts, everything, and then I went back the next year and they had shut that down. You couldn't do it. So and I understand because, when I put a song out, I want to get compensated for it. It's my song. I should. But then on the other hand, you're actually helping to promote somebody's music. So why can't these labels figure out how to give compensation through, the presentation of this music by different DJs and different artists? Why can't they figure out how to compensate the originators of that music when it's done? So to me, there's a lot of work under the hood that still needs to be fixed in order to make sure that everybody is able to be creative and with whatever elements they are hearing, but also that people are being able to be compensated. You know, I mean, we should be able to find a happy medium to that. But thus far, as I see, there's not a happy medium yet. You know, another element to that is that if people are shut down from being able to use music that's originated from someone else, what it will do is spur them to create their own. So, like I said before, I always like to find the silver lining of something. So, you know, if I'm working with a particular track or song, and I don't really do that, you know, but if I'm working with a particular track or song, and I get shut down from that, well, then you know what? I'm going to go to the keyboard and I'm just write something of my own.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think that we can find a silver lining in it, in that it push us to extend the realms of our creativity. You know, as you mentioned, Amiir, you know, Questlove,
yes,
talented brother, you know, so he can definitely do that. And I love what I've checked out some of his shows, and I love what he does. You know? But he's talented enough that, you know, he can you know, create his own stuff. So are other people. So are you. And so
thank you.
You know, but like I said, there is the other half of that, because I love that he's promoting other people's music and getting it out there. You know, so why can't we you know, compensate the originators through that? You know, there should be some way to do it.
Yeah. I like all those points you talked about. It just reminded me of the whole sampling thing. You know what I'm saying? I just think that it's a difference between an artist taking somebody's record and chopping it up and making it where you can't even recognize the original, versus somebody just, and I'm not even, I know P. Diddy, back, they just would take a whole thing and loop the whole, they weren't as creative. They would just take like a, you know what I'm saying? They would take the whole thing, and that's what happened in hip hop. They were getting sued. But I just think that as long as it should be some type of balance, as long as that person is being creative enough where you can't really recognize the original, I just think it should be some type of, you know, like basically what you were saying, but in addition, because that's what it's all about. We basically want to be creative and do remixes, learn how to make something of our own, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day.
And I like remixes. I think remixes are slamming. I've heard some great remixes, you know. I want somebody to remix some of my songs, you know.
Hey,
I like
holla at your mans, because I produce too, so
you know, let's hook it up. You know, I want to hear it. I want to hear it somebody else's perspective, because that will, you know, other than my own. I want to hear what somebody else would do with songs, you know. I like all that, you know. I really hope that they really get that together, though, you know, in terms of making it work for everybody, because it can work for everybody. Yes.
And I like the part where you said where, because I know, like, I'm just thinking about producers like J Dilla. I'm not sure if you're familiar with J Dilla. Is JD's producer from Detroit, Michigan, that passed away. Basically, in the hip hop community, I didn't even know who Bob James was. You know what I'm saying? But because the producer that I like was sampling this stuff, it gave me an awareness of who this person was. So now, that's where you got that from. Let me go check out this Bob James. So I think that it only helped in the hip hop community for the DJs and producers that play this stuff. I'm not saying they should play the whole records, but as long as they sampling it and giving you it's introducing you to artists you never heard of. You know what I'm saying? Which will make people go and buy your records. And I think, like you're saying, it needs to just be some type of balance. They got to just find some kind of way to still compensate the original composers. And with that said, I think we're going to, do we have any more questions, Jules, or you want to wrap this up? Okay, cool. So I want to thank, let's give a major shout out and hand clap to Cindy Blackman Santana. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her husband. Y'all know who Santana is. So, you know, that's a beautiful thing. And if y'all want to find Cindy, this is all her socials at the bottom. You have anything you want to promote, Cindy? You got the album that's out, the Give It a Drummer Some?
Yes, thank you for that. Drummer Some is out now. And let's see. It features Carlos, of course, on guitar. John McLaughlin on guitar. Heavy guitar players. Carlos, John McLaughlin, Vernon Reed, 𝗕𝗟𝗓𝗏. They're all on the record. Benny Ritfald is playing bass. Matt Garrison is also playing bass. Andy Vargas is rapping on a couple tracks. I'm doing some singing on this, which is like my debut for
wow. Wow.
And we, you know, it's Imagine was the first release, and Imagine all the proceeds are going to 𝗬𝗓𝗓 and Song Aid. You know, so if you can definitely support that track, it's really needed. Yoko Ono gave her thumbs up on our version, so we're really happy about that. I mean, it feels like for her to give her thumbs up, it feels like John Lennon himself is giving his thumbs up, you know, so we're really thrilled about that. But also we're thrilled because we're able to help people, you know, with the proceeds from that song. So all the proceeds from our side and all the proceeds from her side are going to those two organizations to help people who are displaced right now, to help people who, you know, are out of work because of COVID. And, you know, it's really needed and really important. So you know, whatever it costs for that one track, $1.29, whatever it is, will go a long way in helping somebody. So please support that. Please support Give the Drummer Some. We're looking forward to, you know, playing live and getting back out there soon. I also did a track with John McLaughlin that he brought in called Quarantine Blues, and I sang and wrote the lyrics for that one. That also goes to, I think it goes to Music Cares. So supporting that track is also very important because 100% of the proceeds, you know, none of us are taking any money on that. 100% of those proceeds are going as well to help musicians, particularly who are in need right now. So please support these and the other songs that these organizations are putting out, you know, to help people, you know, because we have to pull each other up. We have to support each other. You know, we are one race with variants, and we have to remember that. You know, we're not different races. There's not this race that was. We are one race, the human race. But we have race variants, just like a flower garden has many different colors and many different type of flowers, but they're all flowers. So we're all human beings. You know, we need to face that, cancel out, and zero out all those prejudiced thoughts, all the negativity that we have towards someone who's different. Different. We need to see the beauty in the differences, and that's all I got to say.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well said, Cindy. I want to thank you for taking our time and give my love to the legendary Carlos Santana. I'm hoping that one day that me and you can do a double drum thing because we both, you know, do some things in the hip hop community. But yeah, I just want to thank you for your time, and I love everything that you said. I'm wishing you a beautiful week, and yeah, thanks for coming on the show, Cindy. Hope to see you when things, you know, open back up and, you know, we're able to travel and whatnot. Yep. I
hope so too. And like I said in the message to you, and I'll repeat it because I really made it. I'm so honored that you asked me to join you today. And you know, I think the world of you, man. I think you're awesome as a person and as a musician. Thank you. And I want to thank DW Jules. You're amazing. I love you.
Jules, yes.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's on it. Lady is happening. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. And I hope to see you again soon.
Yes.
Stay safe, everybody.
God bless. Yeah, so there you go. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for tuning in. Want to give special shout out to Sarah, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful. I wanted to definitely highlight the queens today. You know what I'm saying? Check both of them out if you don't know, do your Googles. You know what I'm saying? I want to also thank my co-host Jules Thomas. You know what I'm saying? And it's really cool. I'm actually glad that DW bought Gretsch. So, you know, me and Cindy, we're part of the same family, you know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing because I actually became a fan of Gretsch, you know, when I would see my heroes like Vinnie Colaiuta, you know what I'm saying, Tony Williams using Gretsch. I was like, okay. When I heard that they bought Gretsch, I was like, yeah, home team. And I actually talked about the story on the last, but I'll spare y'all this time. But thank you guys for taking our time to tune in and wishing y'all a beautiful week. And I played in the beginning. I don't know if there's time. Oh. Want to do one more question? All right, so I'm gonna open up a space for one more question, and if y'all want to hear some, I'm gonna try to play something real quick. Anybody have any other questions? So this question is from Omar U. Is this still a good time? Oh, is it still a good idea to move to a big city, even though we do have social media and get know that Where from anywhere? No. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a very good question. Like I was saying earlier when Sarah was on, I was saying back in the days, like in the 90s, you know, even before that, and even in the 80s and 90s, it was like they planted in your head where you would need to be in like a New York City, Chicago, or big cities where music was popping, you know, to get known or thrive and grow, you know, as a musician. But I feel like nowadays you don't have to do that. Like I've seen people, you know, use social media, set up the kid in the bedroom, you know, in their bedrooms and basically use the social media like as a demo, you know what I'm saying, to get gigs from, you know what I'm saying? And it's many ways that you can use social media. You can, put together a YouTube channel, make videos, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like your reel. You know, back in the day, we would have to like, you know, take clips from artists we may play, you know, with this artist and make like one type of real demo. But you don't have I don't think that's necessary nowadays. So I think it's to each, you know, to each his own. I would say that human touch is still the same thing regardless. I just think making an impression when you meet the artist that you want to work with, that's what's going to get you the gig. I think playing is like, it used to be the first thing, but it's kind of like in the middle now. You don't always have to have the most chops, because basically when you're playing with artists, they want to know if they can be on the road with you. You know, if you're going to be grumpy or if you're going to be nasty and not clean up after yourself, they want to know if you got a good attitude. You know what I'm saying? So if you can play and that's a plus. If you got swag, that's just a plus. So just to answer the question, I just think you don't have to be in big cities to get it in. You know what I'm saying? Just work on your craft, like Cindy was saying. That should be the main focus. Finding, working on your craft, finding out your brand. You know what I'm saying? And that's my answer to that question. So with that said, I'm going to try. Let me see. QQ. Yeah. So basically, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope y'all have a beautiful day. And I'm gonna get on here and see what I can do. Try to give y'all something on the closeouts, and then we're gonna leave on a peace note. So give me a second. Also want to shout out my brands. I forgot to mention the microphone. Shout out to Solomon Mics. They make these. Y'all can't. I don't know if y'all can see it. Because I want my man Henry. I want to give my man Henry some love. So this thing right here. This is a sub microphone. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, they had another thing called a sub kick. And this is basically for all your low end frequencies. It brings it all out, and you can use this for any type of low end frequency. You can use it for your floor tom or your kick drum. This is my signature model. This is the second model. It's the Neo Black, and the wrap was inspired off the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? When they had on those coats. So yeah, so I want to shout out the brand Solomon Mic. That's the Daru Jones models available. Shout out to DW, PDP, Ppd cymbals, the head drumsticks, lead percussion, and yeah, let's see what we can do. See what we can do. Try to keep it short and sweet. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take this off. So I'm gonna kind of do something along with the thing that I just played on Saturday Night Live. We played a track called 𝗓𝗓𝗏, title track from Jack White's his solo second record I played on. And the beat was inspired by MC like 𝗓𝗓𝗏, you know what I'm saying? And I just played my own interpretation. So I'm gonna do something on those lines. bless you. Thank you.